Hello walkers, and welcome back to City Walks. My name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide, as we explore this location, which I'm going to get to in a minute. This one's pretty special to me. It is about 48 degrees Fahrenheit, 9 degrees Celsius, 3:45 p.m., early December on, I think it's a Wednesday. This is sort of the easternmost, my favorite spot on this road trip from Montana. And I'm going to try and crop that bit out. Just a sign, because I don't want to give it away yet. It's a surprise, although you'll have already noticed from the title. We are at Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina today on a cool, kind of rainy day. If you like this channel, please like the video, subscribe. If you haven't done so yet, that helps us out a lot. My name is Henry. I'll be your proxy walker and virtual travel guide. This is a little different. Normally, I just kind of poke around. Here's a public beach access between the Blockade Runner Hotel, which has been here since the 60s, and this house, which used to be owned by the Mercersons, these two. And I actually had a friend that they owned that back in the day. And we are on Wrightsville Beach. I grew up not on Wrightsville Beach, but in Wilmington. And we'd come out here a lot in the summers and winters. And we were on this road trip, and I thought, well, why not just pop over to Wilmington, explore a little bit, and have some memories. And I got a lot of them. It's a surreal experience, I got to tell you. Normally we just poke around and I sort of discover things, and we explore together, and then I get distracted and point something else out. This one's a little different because I know a lot about this stuff, or at least I used to. I think it's obviously changed a lot in the many years since I've been here. I think it's 30 years now. That's a cool sculpture up there on that porch. But I'm stoked to be back. I'm really excited to be here, and my son has been very patient with me, listening to me point out all the notable locations and such that I could remember. There's a lot that I don't, and it's interesting to see it with adult eyes. We are going south, along, I forget the name of this little side street. Wrightsville Beach has one primary north-south route and a couple offshoots of side streets until you get to the north end, and I think you get a little bit more. And then streets, as you get up to the north, streets spur off, and there's houses, tons of these houses, some of which are old, some of which are new. That one's a little older and classic. This is awesome. So the Atlantic Ocean is off to the left, and I'll try and do another walk with that. I'm just going to go down here another block or so, because I have to dodge. No, I think I can do it along the sidewalk. It's public. You can see the sound or the marsh area off to the right there. We'll see more of that in a little bit. We're coming up on the Carolina Yacht Club, which isn't really a true yacht club. It's more of a beach club. But we used to spend a fair amount of time out there. Had a lot of friends that were members here. Went to a dance here. It's really cool. And then they have a couple of ramps, and they do a lot of sailing with the smaller boats, and I actually took sailing lessons here for a while. I can remember in the summers we'd walk around barefoot, and this pavement, this blacktop being so hot. Oh my gosh, you kind of have to skip across. Look at that. awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'll go down finish this little bit and then go over to the main road and show you some of the creek over there, the sound. That's awesome. The smell, the salt of the salt marsh, and just the smell of it all is wonderful. It's classic old beach homes. Waynick Boulevard along there, and the main one's Waynick, I guess. The other one was Lumina. This is the one closer to the beach is Lumina Avenue. Unfortunately, the property between the road and the water is private. It's all private over there. There's a couple little parks, pocket parks that go through there. You can see the quality of the grass here is not great. I mean, the quality of the soil, it's all sand. So not much on sidewalks of this part of the road, but I'll cut over here in a minute to Lumina again. It's a weird sense of belonging and not belonging at the same time. Let me know in the comments section. I love interacting with you guys, and I would love to hear your thoughts on if you've ever left a place and come back later. You know, I know Tom Wolfe said you can never go home, and I've experienced that before in other places. It's certainly true, but I'd be interested in hearing from you guys about that. Or if you've been to Wilmington or Wrightsville Beach or one of the local beaches. I know one of you is up in Emerald Isle, and it's Taylor Street over to Lumina. And so you are familiar with this area. There's all these sort of public beach accesses on this side. Really narrow rights of way that people can come park in a public street and still access the beaches. Of course, when we were kids, we didn't really think about private property rights. We just ran all over the place until we got yelled at. I still got a little bit of that in me. The smell here is of sort of salt marsh, salt water and beach. It's really nice. Could be colored by memory, of course. The salt air corrodes so much, and the water here is a lot of well water. It's got a lot of, I don't think it's sulfur, but it's got something in it, mineral, and it leaves a distinct scent. It's not unpleasant, but it is distinct. A lot of these beach houses have outdoor showers, sort of. You can see one underneath there, a little secluded, so you can come back from the beach, take a shower, hopefully wash all the sand off, although it never quite works that way. And then possibly even strip down and then go inside. It's interesting that they've taken away a lot of these old parking meters, and now it's all phone based, which is great. It's better than keeping quarters around, for sure. So when I was a kid, that garage, that apartment above the garage, or the parking area, was actually on the ground. We're staying at the Blockade Runner, so I could maybe later I'll pop across the street to show you the sound, just to fish off those docks for sunfish and sheep's head. This is great. I am loving it. It's interesting they don't have sidewalks out here on the main drag, but it's just as nice over here off the away from the traffic. There is parking out there. Of course, when I was here, there was no VRBO or Airbnb. You could rent these places, but it was a little bit more convoluted. And now it's, well, there's a phone number. I'm sure these are online too. I love the this wood shingled look, and with the covered porch. It's an older style of cottage. It's probably not as rugged as some of these others, as hurricane stormproof, but it's just kind of classic and classy. I like it. There's more of a newer siding with that older, but with the older style. I like that too. These houses are narrow, but man, they are deep. I don't know if they're all one house or apartments. That one looks like it's broken up into apartments. Still, I mean, unless, if it's 2 units, that's pretty significant. Maybe it's 4. Still pretty cool. Oh, I love this. And it's the breakfast cottage. I like those shutters too that sort of open, are hinged at the top rather than the sides. You can see the houses across the sound there. Can't remember the name of that sound. It's not on the Google Maps. It's not popping up. Of course, it's early December, so there's barely anybody out here. Few full-time residents. It's certainly not like it is in the summer. Although, you know, it's been 30 years. I'm making some assumptions here. There's another beach access. It's a bigger one. Looks like they're building here a new place. Condos. That looks pretty nice. No prices listed. Looks like this is a series of condos as well. Wow, these magnolias are still got some blooms on them. They're a different kind though. They're smaller than the ones I've seen. Pretty though. I think this bush is a myrtle. I think that's what that plant is called. Hi there. This is Latimer Avenue off to the left. We're going to come in. There's a bridge that comes over from the mainland, and there's sort of a interim island. We're on a barrier island here. And this is sort of a commercial area with some shops and that sort of thing. And then we'll get into more residential. And we'll poke around down there as well. It used to be, I think up here is a trolley stop. Famous for hot dogs. Bunch of different styles of hot dogs that they serve. We used to come down here and get lunch all the time when we were at the beach. Love it. Wings is a, I think it might have been Wings at the time, but it's like beach wear and t-shirts and pool rings and that sort of thing. Some public bathrooms here as well. We're gonna get into some music here. I'm gonna cross over a little bit. We don't need to be this close anyway. I used to go in there, we'd be out here and we'd go surfing. And we'd have our wetsuits on in the winter, and we'd go in there and get coffee and sodas and whatnot and whatever. I think these yellow ones are pretty new. Those are new buildings. There used to be, oh yeah, there it is. An ice cream stand right there. And then this is, I don't know what street this is. This is one south. I don't know, but we're gonna go this way. I don't think that is the original ice cream stand. It was a Swenson's for a while. Obviously you can rent bikes and surfboards and all sorts of things. This is Jimmy Red Dog over there. That wasn't there. Somewhere down here was the Hieronymus Brothers Vito's Pizza. Red Dog looks like a bar. There used to be a grocery store called Robert's down here. It's Oceanic. Oh yeah, here's Robert's Grocery. I think it's still that. Got some restaurants in here, some bars. Surf shops. There used to be a surf shop to my right. So they're the street signs are, I'll show it to you here. They're right here on these white posts. So that's Birmingham going off to the right and North Lumina Avenue that we're walking along. Robert's Grocery here. It's kind of the grocery shop here on this part of the beach. There's others pretty close by if you want to drive. Oh, coffee. And then, of course, I guess this is a bar over to the left. I don't know what that is. Playing some rock music. Somebody's looking to go surfing. So I'm going to duck down here just so we get a look at the sound. There's two bridges, the one that was feeding the traffic in off to our left, and there's another one to the north. And they probably have names, but I don't remember. That's a clever name. So I guess the bar is called Loggerheads, Lager, but there is a sea turtle native to the area called Loggerheads, Logger. That's a little clever play on words. I gotta give him credit for that. It is quite pleasant and nice right now here. There's a little bird's nest up there. There's so much humidity in the air. It's like a massage almost as the wind blows softly. It's so thick. I'm loving it. Oh, I got so excited about being here. And I forgot to thank our Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the moral support, the encouragement, as well as the financial support. This is a big, long road trip. We're on our second week. And, that all costs money, adds up. So thank you very much. Back on Lumina. My plan here is to walk down to Augusta, because when we first moved here from Montana in 1980, we rented a place on Augusta for about 6 months until my parents, it was in the middle of the winter, so definitely the off season, and until my parents could find a place for us to move in full time, which was closer to the city. It was in the city. Crossing Atlanta Street. I will say one of the joys, I'm not looking up anybody here because I left when I was 16 and really haven't kept in touch with a lot of people, but anybody really. That's one of the joys of Facebook. You feel kind of connected, but you're not really sure if you are. Another social media, along with all the negatives, but there's Charlotte. This must be named after cities. I remember I went in Montana. We lived outside of Ovando, and I went to a little two-room schoolhouse, and then we moved here, and look at this cool house. I love that big porch. And they put me in this public school, which is what you do. But it was, I went from 20 kids or whatever to, probably 1,000 kids supposed to ride the bus. They told me how to do it. It's not that hard to ride a bus. But we were getting in line, and it was 1980 North Carolina. So the school wasn't segregated, but the buses and neighborhoods, the neighborhoods were. Not officially, of course, but just that's historical. And I got in line, I was 7 years old, and I got in line, and this girl turned around to me and said, "I don't think you're in the right line." And she was right. I didn't know any better. And then I remember getting back, and my mom was waiting out here at the end of one of these streets, Augusta, waiting for us. I'd never ridden a bus before. It was an interesting experience. Wow, this is an interesting building. Kind of cool. You don't really see much stonework at the base level. Most of these houses are up on stilts. So when a hurricane or storm comes and there's a flood tide, or we call that tidal surge? Here we go. Augusta. I'm going to duck down here. Then the water doesn't shift everything off the foundation. It just sort of hopefully flows underneath. I can't really... All these understories here are open for the most part, but they're fenced off and they're really secretive, and they're like forts, and they're so much fun to play in. Remember, I found a bunch of somebody had a crab boil, and I found a bunch of crab carapaces, and like 20 of them, and they were clean, but I lined them up and made them into spaceships. Look at this. So fascinating to me. Thank you for bearing with me on my reminiscences. I'm a little surprised I remember the street name. Don't worry, we're going to keep walking here. I'm trying to remember if this was our house, the house we lived in. It was out about here. Or maybe it got torn down and rebuilt. Maybe this was it. Unfortunately, my memory doesn't reach back quite that far. We'll go take a peek at the beach real quick, and then we'll come back and continue our walk. But it's tantalizing to hear the surf sounds. So I don't want to walk too far out there in my shoes and get sand everywhere. But I do want to see the water real quick. Ooh, nice and glassy. There's a surfer out there. A couple of them. Three. Ooh, lots of them. See somebody surfing. Wow, lots of surfers out today. A lot of longboards, that's interesting. I think this is Johnnie Mercers Pier down there. More surfers. So we'll continue our walk. Maybe we'll walk down to Johnnie Mercers Pier. It was the first time I'd ever seen a video game arcade, which of course in 1980 was a big thing. And got to put some quarters in and play the games. It's funny what sticks with us and what doesn't. Seemingly random memories. You get a lot of this low-slung foliage and plant life down here. It's shocking that this hasn't been developed. A lot of grape, I think, sea grape, that sort of thing. But it gets shaped by the wind, and of course, there's a lot of water, but it's a lot of salt water too. I'm going to claim that was our house where we lived. Looked a lot different at the time, but that was 30 years ago. So different than Montana. I was telling my son, how strange and exotic everything seemed coming from the mountains of Montana and a town of 100 people. Clear, drinkable water in the streams. Snow in winter. And here we come and it's almost a jungle. People everywhere, different architecture. Different decor on everything, different smells. It's pretty exciting. So these little boxes over here on the right are mailboxes, if I recall correctly. Postal boxes, yeah. Yeah. Back out on Lumina, I'm gonna have to cross the street to get to a sidewalk. Just love this. This is Asheville Street. Down there. You can see the stilts with this one has an enclosed base. Kind of feel like if the water's going to come up this high, wind might be a little bit more of a problem. But they had a hurricane that came through in 2018. We were actually hoping to come down here for that, to visit, not for the hurricane. And it hit them pretty hard, but it certainly didn't, didn't tear everything apart. I think, you get a couple hundred years of experience building out here and you start to get it right. am just thrilled to be sharing this with you guys. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to keep on walking, but I've just got a lot of gratitude in my heart right now. And I hope you'll leave your comments below about memories from the coast or vacations, or it's kind of, I don't know, going back to places that you left long ago. This is Oxford Street. Comes Henderson Street. Love the colors too. I don't really remember that from my days here. There's sorry. When we travel, we don't have TV at home. We have Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff, and Disney and a couple others, but we don't have cable TV, and we don't miss it. It's long gone, past its prime. Anyway, when we go to hotels, and on our travels, we'll tune in to TV, and usually we end up watching reruns of, I don't know, Friends or Big Bang Theory or The Office or Parks and Rec, something like that. And my youngest and I sort of clash a bit. He likes the food shows, the Food Network, and I do not. I like Home and Garden, the HGTV. And they have a couple, like, I don't know what they're called. They're like they're basically house hunters for the beach. This is Salisbury Street, and this leads up to that other bridge I was talking about. We're going to walk up there and see it, and then we're going to come back and we're going to end up at the pier. So we got another 10 minutes or so don't worry. Anyway, I love those shows. I have no desire to live anywhere but Montana at the moment. But there is a bit of part of me that fantasizes about bringing my family here and hanging out for a month or so. We are a mountain-loving family. Sorry about this wind. And not a lot of mountains around here. But I think it would be awesome to spend a month here in the summer and paddleboard and surf or body surf or whatever, and swim and sit on the beach and eat fish and crabs and shrimp. This is Greensboro Street Park, I guess. Cute little park. Some playground for the littles. Here's an interesting hurricane flood level. There's a bunch of statistics there. That you can pause and read if you want. Anyway, I think that'd be fun. I don't have any desire to recreate my junior high glory days, early high school glory days, but I do like this place as a place, and I think it would be fun to share that. Got a melange of new, old, super new, maybe a super old in there. Got one over here too. Interesting, you don't see many fenced yards. I think maybe because this is such a pedestrian way and this public parking is here, they must have decided that was a good privacy option. Somewhere over here, I think. A friend of mine had, his grandparents had a place. Hi there. We'd spend the night. It was not fancy either. Times change, I guess. So you can cross this bridge as a pedestrian. There used to be a convenience store over there somewhere just the other side of the bridge called the Scotchman, and if we had access to a boat, we'd be out in the marsh and we'd go over there and get sodas and snacks and stuff. It's pretty close to high tide. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Wrightsville Beach. I'm loving it. I kind of wonder if I'll run into somebody that I knew back in the day. I'm gonna actually cross over. But then I think, well, they wouldn't recognize me, and I wouldn't recognize them. I don't want to cross over because a cop just drove by, who could probably care less if I jaywalked, but why risk it? We've all changed so much. It's been 30 years. Highly unlikely. There's a show on Netflix. It's kind of a, Dawson Creek-esque type show with a little more action called Outer Banks, and it's ridiculous, of course. But it was supposedly going to be filmed up here prior to North Carolina passing their transgender law, which restricted all sorts of things. Anyway, they moved it to Charleston, but there's all these sort of place names that they kept in the script, and it's similar ecology down there. Anyway, it made me think a lot. I was watching that last year or earlier this year, thinking about Wilmington and Wrightsville, and now I get to come back and explore a little bit. Strange days. I don't know if I told you this before, but I love boxwood, and I think that's boxwood. Maybe it isn't, but the smell of boxwoods I just find enchanting. It is delightful. So up here, we're gonna go up to the pier, but Lumina keeps going off to the north, and I think that tends to be a little bit part of the newer part of the neighborhoods. There's a couple condos up there, maybe a hotel or two, and more beach houses, etc. It goes on for another mile or so, I think, and so I'm not going to go up there, but I am going to go up here and show you Johnnie Mercers Pier. That was the coolest thing when we first moved here to me, that you could go out on this pier and just walk out 100 yards out into the ocean. I've never seen anything like it. And you can fish from it. That's how I think how they make their money. They have a restaurant and stuff, but I think you pay to fish typically. I guess I'm gonna wait for the light. Oops. I'm gonna wait. Or not. Sounds like somebody's got a fire going. So in the summer, this can be quite a lively area. Obviously, there's parking here, there's beach access, there's the pier. There's the palm room, whatever that is. Assume it's a bar, etc. Looks like there's bathrooms. The Silver Gull Motel. Kind of a neat little restroom area. Looks like it's a gateway almost. It's kind of neat. All right, I think maybe the pier is closed, but or you got to go through the building. I'm going to show you this little public space. The sand is wet, so it's nice and firm. This is the Blair Pavilion here. And I think we're going to come over here, go out to the beach, and end this. This is Johnnie Mercers Pier here. Back in May Day, it was wooden. Super rickety. Looks like they've made it into cement now. It's pretty interesting. There's another one down the way called Crystal Pier. Way down there, you can maybe see it. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey through my own personal memory. I'm going to check this out too. We're going to do some more walks here. I'm going to do a beach walk here in a second. Just a nice, peaceful, quiet beach walk. We'll go downtown and walk walk downtown in the old part of town. Oh, look, a little religious sand art. So check around for those. I don't know how many total walks we're going to do. We've got all day tomorrow. Oh, this is awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you again soon. Until then, keep on stepping.